Hey folks, hope you guys are having a good day. It's Saturday. Having an okay day, I guess. Good day. An okay day, pretty good day so far. Except I was up all night. It's like what time to go to bed, and my son comes out of his room, like had a bad dream, so I hung out with him for a while. And got to go to bed about, I don't know, 6 a.m.? Something like that. You know, that vampire life. That's how it is sometimes. So, anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. We'll get to the gaming here in a second. I think I'll start with, I don't know what I'll talk about. Kind of open. Let me look at my list of stuff. I've been busy trying to set up this office because there was a lot of stuff to move and a lot of little things to do to get the office up and running and make it work. I've been experimenting with I'm using my original webcam right now. I'm using a DSLR camera. So if anybody's wondering about using a DSLR camera as a webcam, this is the one that I don't even want to bring it over. I have a Canon, an old Canon, right? Kind of weird, like, oh, that's the shadow from the microphone. I got a microphone shadow because I have a window here that's doing like the natural colored light. Anyway, then I have a blue light. If you're wondering about using a DSLR like a Canon EOS as a webcam, one of the things that I noticed was like the resolution was lower. So its resolution is like 1024 by 576. So that's lower than this one, which is a 1080p camera, right? However, the quality actually, when you like pulled it up to 1080p, wasn't necessarily worse really than this. And I did a little bit more digging, and the reason is because these Logitech cameras, this is a C920, which is like I hate to call it the industry standard for streaming, right? It's like the streaming industry standard. It's a fairly cheap webcam. I mean, it's like usually less than $100 to get it. And it's really good. I've used it for years now to do like most of my videos, but there's things that are less than great about it. You know, for one thing, I have to use very old software for it. So the new drivers for the camera, you just shouldn't use. You should only use drivers from like 2017. For whatever reason, I don't know, they took all the settings out of the drivers going forward, so you actually can't adjust the camera and use its full capabilities unless you're using old drivers. So that is something that I point out. If you do get a Logitech C920, you need to look up the older drivers to actually use the correct Logitech software. The correct camera controls are only available on those older drivers. So that's that. So 576 is not a super high resolution, but it's uncompressed. So an uncompressed 576 really doesn't look worse than the compressed 1080p that this one puts out, because they're both operating under USB 2.0 standard. Now, if you're operating under like a USB 3.0 standard, you could, you could stream high definition video, maybe even 4K without any problem. But that's not, the camera doesn't do that. The camera, this is an old camera before USB 3.0 existed. So you can't do that. And if you have a newer one, it doesn't do that because the software isn't set up. Technically, my camera is not actually supported by the software. It just works because it happens to work, being the same class of products. So the 576 resolution actually looks really good, and the reason is because it's a bigger aperture, so it's a better sensor is what you're using. Better lenses, actual focal length, right? So like if I were to set it up, it would look, and maybe I'll do another video like just comparing the two. You'd have me in much sharper focus with the Canon, and my background would actually be like much more blurred. It has a better effect. It looks better in terms of its overall construction of the image versus this 1080p webcam. And like I said, because of the compression, it turns out that the difference between the resolution is really not all that noticeable. Maybe you might notice it a little bit if you had it on a full size like monitor. Rather, a lot of people watch on a phone, or they have it in a window. You know, they're watching YouTube in a window, like on another monitor, or, you know, they're doing multiple things when they're watching YouTube. They're not watching a video like this in like full, you know, full size TV where they're like, wait a minute, this looks like some blurry pixels here. So most people are not watching it in a way where they're going to notice the resolution difference. And then the overall image ends up actually being better with the lower resolution, uncompressed video. Kind of weird. But anyway, that was some experimentation that I did with that. So maybe I'll, a Canon, not a Canon, a Canon. So yeah, Canon Rebel. Actually, I'll pull it down real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. I have it on a tripod over here. That's the other problem is like, you know, how are you going to mount your camera here? I need to put you also got to get in the habit of like putting lens caps back on to like, you know, save your lenses and stuff. So yeah, you can use this. This one's unsupported technically. In fact, where's my, I'll plug this in. You can see the image a little bit here. Probably some mess I don't intend you to see because my office is a wreck from moving everything and not having enough storage space in the new office. Let's see if it turns on here. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, sensor opened up. Let me see here. Turn it on here. Oh. So yeah, here's normal, or here's the normal webcam, and here's the Canon, right? Now I haven't done any kind of exposure adjustment. You can manually change the exposure on this, which is, I'm gonna turn it. I'm gonna go the other way. Here we go. There we go. You can crank up the exposure manually, just on the camera, which is kind of, you know, kind of convenient here. And if I take it back off here. That's the webcam. So from the same, if I put it kind of right next to each other, that's what they look like. And you can zoom in or zoom out. So you could put it in a couple of different interesting positions and get pretty good image quality, I think. And then of course the manual focus. So I can like really dial it in here, you know? And my background is like a more appropriately blurred. So it turns out that it's really not all that noticeable, the resolution quality difference. So anyway, thought I'd share that. It's a little bit of an experimentation. Those of you who maybe have a DSLR camera like a Canon, what are the ups and downs of that? Now, if you have a newer Canon that outputs with HDMI, you could use an HDMI capture card and get full 1080p video that way, uncompressed. Possibly uncompressed, it depends on your capture card, right? So the compressed video versus the uncompressed 576, it's kind of pretty much the same. You don't notice too much of a quality difference. Bought a new phone yesterday. I was surprised to learn all new phones don't have headphone jacks. I thought people hated Apple for doing that. After I got it, I uninstalled all Google apps. Yeah, I mean, I'm a stickler on headphone jacks. Mine still has one. This is a, what is this? I think this is an S10, Galaxy S10 Plus. It's whatever the bigger one was. I'm like, I need more screen. I need a bigger screen. My eyes are going bad. Where's my glasses? Here they are. I'm putting on my glasses. So yeah, I bought this and it was like a year out, so I could buy it for less money because if it's last year's phone, it's not worth crap. So I bought last year's phone, I guess in 2020, so it's an old phone now. And because it had a headphone jack, and it's the last one to have a headphone jack. So I'm like, I will use this phone, I don't know, I'll probably use it until the actual hardware breaks, and then I might try to repair it. And really the only reason I bought it is that like the speakers and stuff died on my Google Pixel, my original Google Pixel, which still has a great screen. I mean, this has an OLED, it runs at like 1440p, right? Like it's got a great screen, great audio, everything about it is awesome. But the newer ones have like, ooh, it's a faster processor and some kind of upgraded camera. I'm like, the camera already is really good, you know, for snapping everyday life kind of stuff. And if I want the highest quality image, I'm going to get my DSLR camera out and actually take a quality image. I've shot weddings with that, and that's actually a rather cheap digital camera. But it turns out most of the quality of photography really is in the subject, the lighting, the way you construct the shot, more so than my sensor. You know, the new ones have a 20 megapixel, and this one only has a 15 megapixel camera or something. So the pixel density is, when most people are looking at it, it's actually less of an issue than, you know, the overall construction of the photograph. And at the same time, the better lenses end up overcoming, like, oh, well, this one has slightly lower pixel density, and the better sensor, all the better quality things of the DSLR end up making the images better. And I still sell the images on, like, I guess stock photo websites like Adobe Stock and whatever. So I still sell lots of photos on those. There's photos of me that are out there like feeding chickens and stuff that people use for articles, I guess. So anyway, you can see the difference between those. What are your thoughts on, yeah, Jared, thank you. Hopefully that's useful for you. What are your thoughts on the day the Earth stood still? Do you think it's globalist propaganda? I'm going to Google it to make sure I'm thinking of the correct thing, which is, it's this old movie, right? I actually don't remember it. Oh wait, there's a 2008 version. I never saw the new one. There's one from 1951. That's the one I'm thinking of. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to. I do think I'm not sure if it's propaganda, but it does come from like a globalist perspective. Is that the one with Gregory Peck? Who's in it? I don't remember. But, you know, this was something that you saw a lot from the 50s up through, say, up to now, really. But starting in the 50s, really following World War II, there was this belief in like a world government. That if we had a world government, there wouldn't be any more world wars. So lots of people just thought if there was a global state, then obviously there'd be no wars because there'd be no states to fight wars with each other. And it would be a force that could unify all of Earth into a single government. And you notice in Star Trek, that's like always that's always a thing that predates like some culture going to warp, is that they create a global government. And now my sci-fi really goes kind of the opposite direction in most cases, which is that if you are going to get the new Pulp Rock anthology, which I've linked a couple times, the story in that, there's two empires and they're ethnically divided. One is basically all the Europeans and their descendants, and the other ones are all the East Asians and their descendants, basically forming two galactic empires because they're so culturally different. And then each planet gets so culturally different that it's like an alien landscape of people. But I never have written with the idea in mind that somehow humanity becomes this unified force. I believe that people, you can have peace between various kinds of diverse peoples. I believe that. But most of the time there's going to have conflict that erupts because of millions of other factors, and one of the biggest being like the greed of the rulers. And so I don't really see global government as good for the Earth, and I don't necessarily see global government as some precursor to like interstellar expansion or something like that. But that's a really popular view from the 20th century, is that you needed this global government to push things forward. Just it's another kind of statist belief, I guess, is the best way to put it. Another belief in the state. Michael Rennie's in it. Okay, yeah. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen it, but you find this with Star Trek and stuff too. It's the same kind of themes. In Star Trek, it's a peaceful event. It's like the Vulcans come, and then the various remnants of human society come together to form a government to go out into space and they put aside their differences because they realize that there's aliens out there. Like aliens change people's perspective on everything, and there's like a realignment towards unity and, you know, socialist government or something like that. I don't know. I don't ever buy that. And really, I could see if there's some sort of interstellar expansion, you have various world powers that themselves move out into interstellar space and maybe end up occupying a permanent position off of Earth. So if there's another habitable planet out there, the first country that really goes out there and explores it, maybe eventually that just becomes their home, and the ancestral homeland of China or whatever just becomes a separate, distinct entity left on Earth. And you end up with probably schisms of different countries on that new planet too, because people tend to divide each other into various little spheres. Anyway, so yeah, you humans could have it all. Pro-atomic tech propaganda. Arms weapons scientists have a vested interest in authoritarian power. Yeah, but because the government pays for all the weapons manufacturing. Now, this is a very interesting thing that I will say right now. In the past, war created money for the state, in that you plundered other civilizations. So if you were a Roman, you know, if you're a Roman consul, Roman general, yeah, you wanted to go out and conquer a new culture, because then you could plunder them and bring all the gold back, and it made you rich. So it used to be that war was literally a profitable enterprise in the past. Conquest was. Now war is about plundering. Rather than plundering another civilization, you plunder your own people and hand it to a third party and just destroy foreigners, you know, blow up foreigners as like a side effect of that. So you tax the crap, or you create the tax of inflation for the people at home, and you give it to companies that make very, very expensive things like F-22 jets. And then you use those products, you destroy the wealth that you create a bomb. It costs money to make a bomb. You blow the bomb up, and the money that you used to make the bomb disappears, except for the excess profits, which go into the pockets of the people who made the bomb. So you kill people in order to enrich the bomb makers. You just plunder the people, your own people, and get nothing out of the conquest at all. You know, there was no money, there was no plunder, there was no treasure gained out of Afghanistan or Iraq. There was no treasure gained in any foreign endeavor. Even World War II, there was no treasure extracted from World War I or World War II. I mean, World War I, technically, you had, like, Germany was supposed to pay all these war reparations, which they would have actually been paying until, like, the 1980s, which is insane. But, yeah, you didn't gain lands, resources. You didn't gain anything. You just took the people's money at home and spent it on war. It became profitable to just plunder the people. That's weird, but that's kind of what we've ended up with, you know? All right, let's get a move on. Let's play some games. Oh, let's move this camera. Honey bun, what you doing down there, sleepy dog? All right. There we are. Boop, boop, boop. That is not the setting I want. There we go. Oh, you can sell your military wares to other countries. That's part of it too. Yeah, but I mean, we're also providing like specific military aid to other countries too. I don't think you make I think some countries make money exporting their military stuff, like maybe Russia, but I don't think we do. All right, here we go. Let's go here. We're going to go to new toggle. I have another controller plugged in somehow. It thinks I do. It thinks I do. Sorry about that. Sometimes this only wants to work with... There it goes. Generic Xbox controller. Alright, whatever. Let's go to load state. The Empire's made me a rich man. Stop thinking of yourself. Many towns and villages have been smashed by the Empire. The Empire's also totally rotten. It's using magic to enslave the world. The Empire and my realm were allies until recently. The Empire will end up owning you. A lot of people have argued that America's wars in the Middle East are over oil. Yeah, but we didn't bring back any oil. Just like changed who was selling oil to us. You know, it reduced the supply of oil. Really, honestly, it made domestic, if it was a war over oil, it was to make domestic oil more profitable. In effect. The Empire. Evil? We all hate the Empire for the same reasons, that's why. You know, you're even more stunning than Maria. Enough! If Juno becomes my wife, I'll help. Otherwise... What? Are you stupid? We haven't any choice. Yes, it's settled. But I have conditions. We'll decide with a coin toss. If it's heads, you'll help us. If it's tails, I'll go with you. Well, Mr. Gambler? Oh, fine, I accept. Listen to yourself. Juno, you can't become his wife. You just can't. Ready? I win! Now honor your part of the bargain. How unusual. A coin with identical sides? That coin! Big brother, don't tell me! I think you've been hustled, Mr. Gambler. Ha! How can you get? How low can you get? I love it! Alright, I'll help you. Nothing to lose but my life. My life is a chip in your pile. Ante up! This unwieldy-looking ship really moves. Could it crash? When things fall, they fall. It's all a matter of fate. This ship's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Better land some distance away. Right. I'll wait on board in case of an emergency. What's up, C-Dub? Ah, those sweet Mode 7 graphics. Gotta love them. Turn that blue light down a bit. That window's bright. Down here. Do you think that society might ever abandon cell phones and wireless electronics in general? I don't know. Boy, that's a good question. I would say no, not unless there's something that... Not unless, like, somehow the state can ban it, or... You know, there's some other event that makes it impossible to use them. I don't think people will, en masse, voluntarily abandon them. I think individuals will abandon them. hell yeah, because people will see that they're bad for them in some ways, or that maybe the positives don't outweigh the negatives. So yeah, I can see that. Let's see. Not enough potions. Let's buy some more potions. Tincture, eye drop, remedy, revivify, tint. What does revivify do? Oh, cure zombie. 10, yeah. Warp stone, same effect as warp. Okay. I don't think we need any of that stuff. All right. You played Matrix Unreal Engine 5 thing? No. In my IMO, it's really impressive that they used the model of Neo created for the first movie in real-time sequences. That's cool. I haven't played it. I played Looper. Or no, what's it called? Deathloop. Played Deathloop this week. My wife got it for me for Santa Claus. And there was Final Fantasy XIV server maintenance one night, so I was like, I'll play Deathloop. It's okay. I see all this stuff on the cover. It's like, revolutionary. I'm like, no, it's a shooter with like a slightly interesting macro to it. It's not a bad game. It's pretty fun. It's got like this attempt to make Quentin Tarantino dialogue that to me comes off as pretty cringy. But the gameplay is pretty fun. But it's basically a standard shooter. My first thought upon playing it was, I wish I had a mouse and keyboard instead of playing it on PS5. And you can't play with mouse and keyboard on PS5. Apparently Xbox has a lot more mouse keyboard support, which is actually kind of cool that they do that. But there's mouse keyboard support on some PS5 games, but that one didn't have one that I can tell. It's like, that's too bad, because mouse keyboard works a lot better for 3D shooters. Sure, no problem. In any case, you're probably broke. Hey, you're not at the Empire. Get out of here! It's a little blues thing here, a little 12-bar blues. Whoopee! You're in the way, get! Let's take a look around here. Are you in any way interested in Devil May Cry? I think it does have some good storytelling it takes. I like the first game quite a bit. I actually liked the second game, although at the time everyone like really hated it for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but yeah, I enjoy Devil May Cry games. Relics. Peace Ring, Sniper Sight, Wall Ring. We don't have that. Cast Reflect, Amulet. Protects against Poison Dart Zombie. I bet you will need that. Yeah, last I checked, the US only got 50% of its oil from the Middle East. Didn't even need that. Most comes from Canada and Mexico domestically. Some people have said, well, it has to do with European allies. They need the Middle Eastern oil. I'm a scholar of magic. Monsters on this continent have only weak magical power. Ooh, a potion. Yeah, let's stay at the end. 300 gold! 300 gil. Yeah, the Wheel of Time show sucks. I just watched the first episode. I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to watch every episode. It's not that important. Read the books. I don't need to watch the show. But it does like confirm my thing. Like if you see somebody adapting a show and you haven't ever, or you're adapting a book and you haven't ever read the book, instead of watching the show, try reading the book. Now, I can definitely say that watching the show will probably take less time than reading Wheel of Time books, but with some of these, you know, it's kind of a wash. It's not going to be that much extra time to just read the book. Already came in there. No entry into the port. You're in the way, get. That's all they say. Ooh, here's an old man. You find some good weapons and items in Zen and Miranda. Good to know. Oh, I just realized that this symbol is like a little syringe. See? It's like a little syringe there. Oh, maybe it's supposed to be a sword. Looks like a syringe. It's like, oh, it might sell like forged katana. Poison claw, down. Up, up, up. Epee. We'll buy one. I guess we can buy one. A lot of gold, so it's whatever. June made me want to read the book despite being good. Receive the teacher. A scholar of weapons. 1,000 years ago, during the War of the Magi, two so-called Atma weapons existed. One changed a person's power into a sword, the other was a monster, bred for mass destruction. I realize I don't have like any light on it here at all. There we go. You can see like my little homeschool area back there. No, you can't. I got like a little homeschool. All my kids' stuff. I put a little desk in here for him. One changed a person's power into a sword, the other was a monster bred for mass destruction. Alright. Yeah, that would be a better policy. I really believe that, like, I mean, I hate to be the guy that's like, war is unnecessary, but I mean, you can't see the wars of the last 20 years and come away thinking, hey, these were totally necessary and just wars that were worth doing. It's like we sent people to their deaths for really to make bankers richer. The government by the bankers, for the bankers, to the bankers. Bard's hat. Ooh. Everyone likes the Bard's hat. Sing the Bard's song. Ooh, I'm down below 100,000 gil. A mithril vest. Looks pretty good. Ninja gear. Let's equip. Optimum? No, wait, we don't need that one. We need the bike in. Actually, doesn't matter what his weapon is. Optimum. She didn't have any weapons. There we go. Alright, he's already at optimum. Alright. Okay, that works. In the new episode, Moraine has sex with the Amerlin Seat Swian. What? Rafe Judkins is an ideologue. He tweeted that he would make random characters gay to retaliate against angry fans. Great. Empty. Why do you have empty chests about here? What's the deal? Let's talk to this guy. Emperor Gestal himself asked me to do his portrait. What if he doesn't like it? He'll probably kill you. I do like about these games, like, just kind of towns filled with people makes me want to talk to them. I like that about Final Fantasy XII is like there's just like a lot of little flavor text. Wait. Alright. I think we got everything we need here. So let's get out of this town. Alright. Save our game. I'm not sure where we're supposed to go from here. Left or right? I guess we'll find out. I think we can't cross this bridge yet. Imperial base. We'll talk to him. Oh no, he attacks us. Commandos! Chucked out. I don't know. Oh, yeah, if we touch any guys, then like we get thrown out. We'll explore the other direction. Not steal. Well, they might drop. If you drop tents, that actually would be pretty cool. Stock up on tents here. The three main boys are pathetic, and the stoic masculine warders have gay threesomes with their Aes Sedai. Not joking. I'm sure that's how it is. I mean, this is something that I don't know. I picked up right away is that the guy playing Rand al'Thor is like really effeminate. Like you can't even understand him. He talks so softly and in such an effeminate manner. And I don't mean like feminine, I mean effeminate. You know, like femininity is not like the opposite of masculinity, but you know, very unappealing character. But I think you can't have like a white male lead in 2021 without making him either gay or just effeminate. I think you just can't do it. Chainsaw. Yeah, if we don't want sodomy in our stores, we have to make them ourselves. They didn't make the story. They bought the license to retell Robert Jordan's work. Exactly. They don't buy... It's like, you try to hand them... Here's the book that you got paid to adapt. They're like, burn it! Ugly brute. Better make tracks. It's on the house. Have a snooze? I don't like his eye patch. I'm suspicious of that eye patch. In the army that destroyed our village, what about your promise to begin anew in Miranda? Guess I'll stay here and volunteer to be a soldier. I read those in the wrong order. Sorry. I mean, one of the ways that you know that it was going to be bad was Robert Jordan is dead. Got that. That's what they do. They buy IPs and then gut them. General Juno turned traitor. Why? The other side's sure to lose. Said the director of Magitech Research. It's a genius. He gave my child the gift of cure magic. Ugly brute. Better make tracks. I get it. Everyone thinks I'm ugly. Thanks. Ooh. What's this guy say? Shh. I'm a returner sympathizer. I've heard of you. While I distract the soldiers, climb onto the steel tower from this box and enter the facility. Already? I don't know. I guess let's go. Yes. Because I didn't stay at the end and like recharge my stuff. Oh well. I'm gonna be sick. Get out of here. Gonna toss it all. Hey. Alright, here we go. Go this way. You know, they really, I mean, the truth is they'd really rather make their own original stories, but they're not good at that. And, yeah. You know, the executives want you to adapt an already popular work because you think it, you know, it's easier to, you could just get fans to watch it. And then the creatives are like, I don't really like this. I want to do my own thing, or I hate it and I want to actually deconstruct it, a la like Starship Troopers. The Starship Troopers movie is, to me, really only interesting because Paul Verhoeven really hated the source material and actually set out to make a movie that made fun of and was a parody of the source material. Like, here's this popular thing from the past that is somehow objectionable with the modern sense, so we need to gut it. Make something new that appeals to the modern audience, right? They won't do that because no one will watch it. The fans won't watch it. Whoa! Going down the conveyor belt. An X potion. Whoop. Garm. Man, this party's super strong with Chad and Sigma in it. These guys are like AoE beasts and they don't even use mana. Flame Saber. use this hook. Back this way. Evil cannot create, only destroy. It's a very Tolkien idea, too. You can only, you know, make a mockery of the good. You can't create anything new in and of itself. You have to quit consuming this crap, even if only out of morbid curiosity or hate watching. You don't care why we watched it or we liked it. Don't even matters that we watch it. True. Now, I've made it clear I do this mostly for Machiavellian reasons, which is, I know there's people I haven't reached yet that will be upset and then watch my video on it or read my blog post on it. And then, you know, they will... It'll begin the inception of the idea that they can read and watch things that aren't massive corporate movies. Tarantino said after his 10th movie he's probably going to retire and watch and write books or plays. Probably a good idea. Proto Armor and Pipsqueak. The cool thing about writing a book is you could do it yourself. Oh, Adrian's here. I didn't see him in chat. Yeah, you gotta stop giving money to people who hate you. Brian wrote that whole book on it. and here's the main benefit is you don't do it to punish the corporations. I've talked about this before. Because they don't really care, right? They have enough assets they can literally leverage debt forever. People thought that the pandemic or whatever would mean like the end of Disney. It did not. It meant, you know, Disney is like even stronger than before. Can we go in here? You do it for your own reasons, which is because if you don't, you know, every movie you watch that you don't like is 2 hours you could have spent watching something that you did like. So it's better to spend your time watching something that you like. You know, you already know that they're not going to make Wheel of Time good, so the time you spend watching it could have been spent watching something that was good, or reading a book, or, you know, anything else, really. I don't know why I can't go in here. I have to come in from the top here. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, I see the ladder goes underneath the platform. So you do it first of all for you. Thunderblade. It's the same. I mean, you could equip the Thunderblade for sure. I'll equip it. And let's put him... maybe front row across the board. Yeah, Costco closest to me has like, if it's that one in Turlock, I think I bought gas there for almost $5. Yeah, the Arco had it for like $4.45. It costs like $80 to fill up. Not even like a big tank. What if you produce something good enough that you can maintain complete creative control in adapting it? Like Brandon. I don't think Brandon Sanderson can maintain creative control of adapting his work. I don't think it's possible. We think of Brandon Sanderson as this very popular fantasy author, and he is. But his cultural power is a fraction of what the mega corporations can control, and he's already like very neutered by New York publishing anyway, believe it or not. He's like keeping Tor afloat, but even so, you can read his books. They're modern and not necessarily in a good way. I don't think he's a bad writer on any level, but that's not true. There's definitely some things I don't like about his books. I don't believe he can maintain creative control. Personally, I don't think that's possible. You know, just not really possible. The producer would be like, no. It's like, even if he had to have all creative things, like they'd say, well, you know, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll like cancel the show, something like that. You know, that they can exert their own creative control, even if he supposedly has a final say in whatever's happening. We need to get on this thing. Let's try it out. Proto-Armor. Suplex! Body slam this robot. Wow! Companies like Disney or Hollywood were ever to be in danger to go out of business, which would likely never happen, and the government would bail them out. Yeah, they'd be like, it's a cultural institution. You can't just let Disney go bankrupt. We will provide them a secure, interest-free loan from the government to ensure that this cultural institution doesn't disappear from the landscape. Yeah, I think that would actually happen. Let's see where this takes me. Down here. Uh-oh. There he is. I'm all powerful! I'm collecting espers. I'm extracting magic. And I'll restore the statues! I love his little laugh sample that they have on the cartridge. You've been completely drained of your powers. Now you're useless to me. Nice guy. And you, take a hike. Alright. What do I do? Do I go talk to him? Maybe I could finally fight him again. That'd be cool. We can do this. Save state. There we go. The ghetto save. The rise in independent creators is really like already here. Revolution will not be televised. In terms of the book market, like, the book market is already completely and utterly dominated by independent writers. We're talking like 80 to 90% of the total book market is now indies, with traditional publishing occupying that last 10%. That's pretty good when you think about it, you know? Good when you think about it. What's under skills? I suppose. What is this one? She didn't have one equipped. That's bad. I guess they got it equipped when she was doing the opera. When I say rise of independent creators, I mean when they replace the mainstream. So in the book business, they already have. That's my point. So in the book business, they already have. In the comic business, they could because the comic business is already so bad. But I think comic book readers are now such a weird market in the US that you're just never going to get them to stop buying Spider-Man comics, even though they hate them. It's just, it's a religious thing for them, I guess. You know, it's just not going to happen. Movies, I think, is the big hoss. Like, movies and video games. Video games, indies are already really popular. Like, some of the best games now are indie games. I could say, like, of my top 10 games I've ever played, there are several indie games on the list, like including Super Meat Boy, one of the best platformers I've ever played in my life. Was an indie game, an early one in the indie revolution. Movies, I think, are the big hoss. There's still tons of independent movies, but they're not at the production level of these blockbuster things. They're things like horror movies or dramas, maybe more stripped down sci-fi movies where you can shoot them on a low budget. So that's really where, like, wondering where the revolution happens. And I think that the pandemic may help that along. Or may have, because people get used to not going to theaters, which means they're more used to consuming product on their home TV, which means you might be able to get more indie movies in the mix, even on the streaming services. You know. So I think it's possible. I think movies are the hardest one to replace because of just everything that surrounds them. Whoa! This is Ifrit, I think? Yes. If I can steal from him. Oh, I missed him. Doesn't have anything. Oh, okay. I like how he has a little hockey mask on when he does it. That's cool. I didn't hit her for anything. Let's see what that does. Let's see if she has anything to steal. Probably not. Doesn't have anything. Okay. Let's try the flash. Let's try one of these. Blitz. Oh, yeah, that worked. That hit her. Cure. Let's use a potion. Who needs a potion? Potion. Tools. See what that does. Ice on him. Let's see what that does. Oh, I do have some magic here. Bolt. Here. Let's do... I'll just fight it. I sensed a kindred spirit. Who are you? You have Ramuh's powers? Wait! We're... Espers. Well, Ramu did entrust them with his powers. If you can suplex a train, you should be able to suplex these fools. They drained our powers, then threw us away to... We haven't long to live. Gestal has grabbed our friends and is trying to drain them of their power. I, too, suffered my turn in one of the glass tubes. We will follow Ramu's lead and give to you our power. Our friends are all gone. We haven't much time left. No choice but to entrust you with our essences. Receive the Magicite, Ifrit. Flans! No! Alright, that got rid of him. Yeah, that's why I unsubbed from the pop culture channels over a year ago. It's pathetic, and the channel creators are selling copium. They keep believing that, like, get woke, go broke. Get woke, go broke. The companies are never going broke. The people who make failed shows are never going to, like, not have another job lined up. They're never going to, like, have a career end because they made a woke piece of propaganda crap that people didn't like. It's, you know, everyone from the Netflix Cowboy Bebop show will work again for the same amount of money. None of them will go broke. Netflix will not go broke. So that, my point is, like, the main reason you should avoid, like, content that you know is going to suck, like modern Hollywood woke adaptations, is for your own sake, because you are not going to like them. You know, that's the main reason. If you don't enjoy them, what's the point? Much better, you know, I have so much more fun playing this game than, like, a lot of modern games, if I'm being really honest. It's like doing no crossbow damage here. It was really low damage. What's going on here? There we go. Whenever a show that gets canceled goes well, those companies who made the show just write it off as a loss. It just, you know, it doesn't really cost them anything. And, like, if they own the IP, they can actually leverage it like an asset. In other words, they can just take on debt. The way that a lot of companies work, and billionaires actually do the same thing, just so you guys know. Rather than selling their stock to get money, they just take out loans with the stock as collateral, which they can do infinitely, and if they ever need to service the interest, they just sell a little bit of stock to pay the interest. You know, that's all they do. Favreau is secretly against Kathleen Kennedy is the most laughable thing ever. Yeah, that's like the Doomcock thing. I have an inside source that says this. Nothing ever happens from it. It's like your inside source is made up, or they themselves are inhaling vast amounts of copium to try to deal with the job that they wish was better. I don't know. Yeah, debt will kill the average person, but it makes the rich richer. Not only that, but, like, inflation doesn't affect the rich. So this is something that you need to know. People publish articles. Oh, inflation's worse for the 1%. That's complete gaslighting. It's the opposite. Inflation doesn't affect the rich for a couple reasons. First of all, their wealth is in assets, and assets appreciate in value with inflation. Stock will go up with inflation. It just does. So if you're just taking out loans based on your holdings, you could take out a loan and pay off the old one just because inflation happened. So your stock value goes up $1 billion and you owe $1 million worth of interest. Well, all of a sudden you can take out a loan for $1 million and just pay off all the interest that you owe and come out ahead because inflation has just increased the value of all your assets. So inflation doesn't hurt you if you're rich. The other thing is you're the first spender of money. So the first spender of new money gets its full value because you are the closest one to the Fed because you're getting loans from the banks which are getting their money from the Fed. You're the first person to spend the money, which means you get the full value of it. Whereas all the little people who get the money from the store and then pay their employees, the employee finally gets the money and he goes to the store and milk is twice as expensive. He has to pay the full cost of inflation, whereas you didn't have to pay anything. Right? So no, inflation doesn't even affect the rich. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, that's an elevator to get up. I guess I could have skipped that whole thing there. I could have taken the elevator up. I like these little pipsqueaks. They're cute. They're cute. Bye-bye, pipsqueaks. You see Biden in his Bob Dole speech with, and then it says end of message. I did not see that. Bob Dole doesn't need this. Bob Dole doesn't talk about himself in third person. That's just not something Bob Dole does. This explains why inflation is being pushed up so much if it increases the value of the assets of the rich. Yeah, the assets follow the money supply. So you have to remember that inflation is everywhere and always a monetary phenomenon. Meaning it's always the money supply that creates inflation. It's never shopkeepers or something else. It's not even gas prices, right? Gas prices can affect the value of lots of goods, but it's not the same as inflation will affect literally everything because it's the supply of money. So it's everywhere and always a monetary phenomenon. But yeah, the rich, because their assets will just mostly follow inflation up, they're not relying on wages really at all. Go from here. Is there like a pipe to go in somewhere? Yeah, Norm Macdonald. That's just not something Bob Dole does. I love that Norm would just, he played the dumb guy. You know. I love that he played the dumb guy. And he would just use words that were really offensive on purpose. Just say retard all the time. And like, I don't know. Norm was a different kind of, it's cut from a different cloth than most comedians. I think someone said Norm can never get any kind of traction in Hollywood because he's funny. Basically, you don't get work in Hollywood if you're funny, is the conclusion. Because to be... Used cars create inflation. Yeah. Dr. Hacker. I don't like the modern Marvel movies too much either. They're not really for me. I think Razor Fist explained it. You know, whenever you have a trend, there's this cycle that occurs with trends. And Marvel movies are an example of it. So the trend is you have a new thing happen, and it kind of explodes on the scene. It's kind of like the 5 stages of corporate IP ownership. It's the same sort of thing. Is what happens is a trend kind of explodes, and then you have lots of little variations on that trend. Then you have what I could probably best describe as like deconstruction of that trend. And then it finally dies. Once you get to the deconstruction part, you're at like the death of the genre. And then we've had that with Marvel movies. So you had something like Iron Man, the original Iron Man movies that were so popular. Oh, blind. Then you have the sequels that are just kind of variations on that theme. Then you start to have deconstructions, where you are, or you have a self-referencing stage. It's kind of like the milking stage. You're just kind of referencing itself. That's when you get like Iron Man 3, and you have like Thor 2 in some of these movies, and the various Avengers movies. Then you end up with a deconstruction phase where things are really, you end up kind of like with Thor 3, right? And things just become references to the previous, but in a deconstructive way, kind of like postmodern music or postmodern art. It's like, this is art designed to not be art. You end up with that sort of thing. And that's when you really are in the death throes. You're milking it to the point where you don't have any new ideas. You can only deconstruct old ideas. And that's really when something is about to die. Now, I probably mistakenly predicted that like the superhero thing can't go on forever and is probably going to die soon. I think I said that like 2 years ago. People are like, no, it's going to go on forever. It was after like Wonder Woman. And I basically said like after Avengers Endgame, that's probably the endgame of superhero movies. And people will stop watching them. They'll just get completely exhausted from them. Dragon boots, what are those doing? Maybe it's a relic. Dragon boots changes fight into jump. Well, that's cool. Oh, we don't have any relics. We want our earrings. There we go. Forgot it just unequipped everything. We don't need 2 sprint shoes, so we can do... we can try that out. I don't think that's going to do anything. Randomly counterattack. There we go. What's he got? Goggles. Shoes, hero ring. Alright. That looks good. Going up. Exploring. I don't think the newest Marvel movies have really been well received either. I haven't heard that much about them because I haven't paid that much attention maybe, but it seems like people didn't really love them. So maybe we'll be looking at a thing where they just kind of die out, or they end up kind of in the death phase, where they just kind of go away for a while and then somebody will revive them. I see like the new Spider-Man movies like referencing the old Spider-Man movies using like Spider-Man multiverse, whatever. I think that's the way I need to go. Gold shield. Shield. There we go. What do you think life is like for the Federal Reserve trillionaires? Federal Reserve is a government bank, so I don't know. Probably pretty good. It's probably pretty good. They never seem confident, so you never get any feeling your hero's in danger and needs to overcome something for the movie to end. Yeah, I think the deconstruction part, like, they wouldn't view that as like a necessary plot element. It's like more about what can we do that's like subversive or surprising. None of these years' Marvel movies have been very successful. The Eternals was a massive flop. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that one. The new Spider-Man movie will make $1 billion due to nostalgia, though. Yeah, you're probably right. I stopped buying Spider-Man comics like in the 90s though, because the writing started getting really bad. So I can't imagine anything that's based on... Wait, I've already been here. Have I already been here? Wait. Am I going the right way? I don't know if I am. The Federal Reserve is not completely separate from the federal government. It's established by government fiat. There's a lot of people who believe conspiracy theories about the Federal Reserve. It's basically a hidden arm of the government that you pretend is not the government, but it is. Which is why every time you put somebody in charge of the Fed, they start doing exactly what the government wants, which is to print money. It's just a way for the government to pretend they don't print money. And that's why American debt actually doesn't mean debt per se. The debt is owed to the Federal Reserve, so it's like one hand owing itself to another. Am I supposed to leave now? I don't even... we didn't... How'd you get in here? Gonna fight this guy? I wasn't sure if we were supposed to leave or not here. I don't really remember. It's been like 20 years since I played this. There we go. Spider-Man's evergreen. If there were superhero stocks, I would invest in them. It's true. This is true. Danger, danger. Stay at the end. The only hindrance today's heroes have is whether they're going to find transport to where their final battle is going to be or not. Yeah, that's why it's like wall-to-wall snark, too. 1,000 gold stolen! I knew it would be something like that. He's wearing an eye patch. Of course he's a bad guy. Whatever, I have 1,000 gil. It's fine. Yeah, intermittent fasting... I'm not a big believer in, like, the things that people claim about intermittent fasting, like, oh, it's gonna like raise your GH or something like that. It can be a useful tool in your like diet arsenal for sure. Mainly because if you shrink your eating window, then it's harder to overeat. If you can effectively do that and not just pig out. Some people, like if they skip breakfast, they're so hungry they'll eat twice as many calories. So it depends on the person. But if you can effectively wait to eat till the afternoon, that means it's harder to just blow past the amount of food that you need to eat in a day. If you start eating as soon as you wake up, it's kind of easy to overeat. I know from experience. Now, some people, if they eat right when they wake up, then they really don't get hungry again until later. I personally don't eat breakfast. So people are like, oh, you're intermittent fasting all the time. It's like, I'm not hungry when I wake up. I'm only hungry at like noon. You know, if I get to like noon, I start getting hungry. So yeah, I usually skip breakfast, but I'm not hungry. I'd be forcing myself to eat breakfast. What's the best Final Fantasy game to start with? I tried 4 back in the day, but never got very far. I think 4 is a good one to start with, but if you don't like it, you can start with any of the others. So I break them down into 3 different categories. There's basically classic. There is the kind of the middle period, which I kind of call the golden age, which is really where things were very popular. like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, and 10. And then you have Modern. Modern is anything after Final Fantasy 10. And then I guess a fourth category, MMO. So it really depends what you want to play. If you want to play an MMO, I recommend Final Fantasy 14. It still has a lot of those story elements people really like in a Final Fantasy game. But it's an MMO, so you can play with other people, you can do the whole gear grind thing, raid bosses, all the fun stuff that most people really like from an MMO. Final Fantasy 14 has it. You could also do Final Fantasy 11 if you want a more classic MMO, but that's not going to be to most people's tastes in 2021. I realize that, but if you're someone who wants something more like EverQuest, then that's a good option. So the classic ones are 1 through 6. And then the golden age is like 7, 8, 9, 10, and Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics has a completely different playstyle from the others. It's a tactical playstyle where you are on a battle grid and you're moving your units around, and there's just way more to it. It's a much more complex playstyle than this kind of turn-based style. So it really just depends what you want to do. If you want a classic JRPG experience, well, this is a good one. Final Fantasy VI is a great one to start with. Great story, great graphics. It's beautiful to look at. It's fun to play. Great characters. You know, so this is a great one to start with. Final Fantasy IV is a great one to start with because of this, a lot of the same reasons. Now, I like the graphics of this one better. If you want something that's more modern, try Final Fantasy 12 or 13. 15, some people are going to like it. I haven't finished it because I just really did not enjoy it. And it's definitely not my favorite one as far as aesthetics goes. It's aesthetically just not pleasing to me. I feel like there's somewhere else I'm supposed to go down here. The biggest positive with intermittent fasting fad is that it made people realize there's any perfect way to take your food during the day. To start your day with a big breakfast, fascism died. I'm so glad about that. Yeah, my dad was the same. He's like, he just never ate breakfast. He's like, man, I'm not hungry. I'll feel sick if I eat in the morning. And I was kind of the same way. I didn't eat breakfast in high school. A lot of times I skipped lunch. Like, I was really lean in high school. Towards the end of high school, like, I had abs and stuff without even trying. And I was like, man, I just guess I'm naturally skinny. Well, I didn't eat until I got home in the afternoon. So if you're only eating in the afternoon, it's kind of hard to eat too much food. And when I changed that eating habit, that's when I started to get fat in college, because I started eating like fast food for lunch every day. Well, that's not good for you, and there's a lot of calories in that. And if you're not burning them off by like working constantly, then you're gonna get fat. And that's what happened. I gained like 20 pounds as a freshman, and it wasn't 20 pounds of muscle, I'll tell you that much. It was 20 pounds of flab. And then, you know, once I started drinking beer a lot, I had this period where I was drinking beer nonstop. Beer is very calorie dense. It's really calorie dense for what's in it. You know, if you're drinking 6 beers, like having a bender and drinking 6 beers, you end up drinking like, you know, 1,500 calories worth of empty carbohydrates. It's not gonna be good for you. Gain a lot of weight that way. Once you get the nutrition squared away, then it's pretty easy to kind of work it off. So there might be some like hormonal benefit, like you might get like, I don't know, IGF-1 or something might be higher in the morning if you don't eat. But I think that's much less of an impact versus just controlling the amount of calories that come in your body. And then, yeah, just you end up eating less overall automatically. And I actually feel the same way with a lot of stuff. Like, whatever you want to do to get there is fine. There's no like best. There might be a best way to do it, but there's no wrong way to do it to meet your goals as long as you're meeting your goals, I guess, right? To me, it's an effective diet if it works. So if it works for you, that's fine. And I feel that way about like low carb. If low carb makes you less hungry, if it makes you feel better, if you like the diet, if you enjoyed the food that's in a low carb diet. All right, I got a gold helmet. I guess that's good. equip it. Bard's hat. Well, you can equip a gold helmet. Get his defense up a little bit. But it drops his magic defense, so maybe we'll go... Put her. Give her. Yeah, the effective diet's the one you can stick to. I like that. Yeah, so yeah, if low carb works for you, if you enjoy the diet, if it gives you the right, you know, if it just works, if it keeps your body healthy, then it's a good diet. And so if that includes fasting, that's great. And if fasting doesn't work for you, that's okay too. Like, I don't think you're missing out. And I think, you know, part of the, I don't know if this is even a problem, because a lot of guys are very honest about this, but like if you go on YouTube and you start looking up diets from like bodybuilders, like I'm talking like real bodybuilders, not dudes who are like, well, you know, I work out and I eat right. I mean guys who are, you know, they're doing shows. Their diet is not, most people are not gonna be able to stick to that diet. That diet is so specifically set up for what they're doing. Most people are going to fail miserably. It's like, oh yeah, I eat nothing but egg whites and like peas and chicken breast and broccoli, and here's meal 3, which is like quinoa and boiled chicken thighs or something. It's like your average person is not going to stick to that diet. You got to find a diet that you like to eat that works, you know. And I think most people are not looking to be so in shape that they'll do like a bodybuilding show. So you kind of have to know what your goals are. So you get away, oh, well, here's a healthy diet is like eating nothing but egg whites and quinoa 24/7. It's like, you know. The other thing is like, okay, this guy eats 6 times a day, let's say. That's kind of like the bodybuilding thing. Let's eat 6 times a day. And they'll say, oh, to stoke the metabolic fire or something like that. I think that's kind of BS personally, but like maybe you get a more constant supply of amino acids, so like you can build a little bit more muscle. But I think the difference is probably kind of negligible for most people. Like, yeah, if you ate 6 times a day instead of 3, you'd be building 2% more muscle. Well, to a competitor, that matters. To a regular person, that's not that important. You'd rather have a diet that makes you feel happy and you're eating at times that feel okay to you, rather than you know, a diet where you are forcing yourself to eat 6 times a day when you're not hungry or something like that in order to get that 1% extra muscle growth. Yeah, to a competitor, that extra little bit matters because that's what they're competing. But to a person who's not trying to compete, like, what's the point of going through something that drastic? Like forcing yourself to eat 6 times a day or something like that. I bring that up, that's like the bodybuilding thing is, if I eat 6 times a day, get all those amino acids in there. So true, you should never just copy the diet of a person whose physique you like. The odds of that being a diet you would actually like to be on is 9 times out of 10 not the case. I learned this like years ago. It's like, you know, when I was trying to like fix my diet, it's like I remember looking at Scooby's diet, right? He's a early fitness YouTuber. He's still around. And he has a, you know, it's a good diet that he uses, but it's horrible to eat. It's really not fun to eat what he eats. I don't know where I'm going now. It's really not fun to eat what he eats on a daily basis. So I failed at that diet. He's like eating nothing but egg whites and stuff. kind of learned that that's not the case. And what I did instead was I just controlled my calories with things like, you know, turkey burgers and tortillas, like loaded up with spinach. And that was a really good meal and tasted really good and had, maybe it didn't have the, like, the same quality of micronutrients as like the diet of eating nothing but oatmeal and quinoa or whatever, but it tasted good and it made me lose weight, so that was good. And that's more or less what I stick to now. Is like I have a bunch of meals that I like to eat that I think taste really good, and I enjoy eating them. Here we go. If people currently in favor of Fauci's medical fascism ever wake up and realize they're little to no different than 1930s Hitler supporters, what will it do for them psychologically? I think that's why people engage in doublethink. Doublethink is the solution to the problem. Because doublethink ended up back where I was. Doublethink allows you to endure cognitive dissonance. That's what doublethink is. And it's a real thing. People do it all the time. You just sort of endure the cognitive dissonance. So yeah, I've shared some of my like little meals that I eat. And, you know, it's one of those things like you can try the meal, and if you don't like it, no big deal. It's just something you don't like to eat. Nothing wrong with that. There we go. Just find something else you like better. But yeah, maybe I don't have like the perfect micronutrient profile that you get from eating nothing but oatmeal and egg whites. But, you know, I actually want to eat the food. So that's good. I like, you know, there's I guess he's fairly popular now, Greg Doucette, who's an IFBB pro. He has a diet cookbook, and it's, you know, fairly close to how I would approach it, which is like his whole thing is like the food's got to taste good or you're not going to eat it, and you need to eat low calorie density foods to lose weight. So we have good food that is not a lot of calories, and that's the approach to dieting, and that's probably a pretty good approach. And it's like you find whatever you can eat that does those things, and you're probably going to be okay. Not sure what I just got here. I got a cape. It's probably a relic. Let's see here. Hyper wrist. Zephyr cape. Dodges attacks more easily. No, we don't want him to dodge attacks, actually. We want him to counterattack. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like getting items at this point. I'm not sure if there's like a bottom where there's another boss I need to fight, or if I just need to leave. You know, and I also have like junk in my diet too, sometimes. Just don't eat a lot of it. I make homemade ice cream that's really high calorie. Like, it's good stuff. Right? And I occasionally eat it. I'm not constantly eating ice cream. That's not good for you. right? It's not, I don't think. You know, but some ice cream every once in a while is not going to kill you as long as, you know, you keep it in limited quantities. Problem with like the holidays is there's so many treats around during the holidays. There's like, people give you candy, there's Christmas candy, there's Christmas cookies, there's all this stuff. There's so much. So many treats. I already went down here. I don't know if I need to leave or not. Maybe I'm gonna look it up real quick. That way I don't waste time. How the music slowed down there for a second. I saved the espers. Vector. I'm gonna make sure. I know this is like boring. It's like you're watching a guy like look. I want to make sure I do this before I leave. Like before I have to go anywhere. Magitech Factory. Blah, blah, blah. We did all this. Pick them up and save your game. Previously inaccessible door. Oh, here we go. There's a door right here. I didn't see the door. I'm really stupid. Yeah, there's a door here. Yeah, so making room for some indulgence is a good thing. Yeah, you have finite amount of willpower. That's a really good way to put it. All right, here we go. You know, and my kids eat all kinds of junk, but not a lot of it. We're talking like, oh, you know, they maybe have a piece of chocolate. Have a piece of chocolate. Oh, you're feeding your kids junk. It's like they're eating really good food 95% of the time. You know, I think about this sometimes. Like, am I being a bad dad by letting my kids have like, you know, a piece of, like my wife made this peanut butter chocolate fudge to give away. I don't know if it's gonna make it out of the house. This stuff's too good. But like, if my kids are eating it, they're eating like a little piece. Or they have a very small bowl of ice cream for dessert before bed. Everything else they're eating is like really good. So I just can't, I have to make sure that I'm keeping things real. Nobody has like a perfect thing, and like life is to be enjoyed, and it's okay to have a scoop of ice cream sometimes. Yeah, there was a door here that the Esper was in front of. Oh well, we got every piece of loot out of here, though. Ooh. These guys are so powerful. Alright, Juno learned Cure 2. So dumb, I didn't notice the door. The door kind of blends in. I have these like bright lights on me, so it's kind of hard to... Like the window's bright. This blue light's bright. I could probably turn off the blue light. There's a natural light. Like playing with the window open. Let's see here. Steal from the general. Exploder. These little pipsqueaks are just suicidal. You have to exercise artificial scarcity. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, a medieval peasant. Actually, well, okay. So if you look at Dutch genre paintings, so I like to look at art of the past to have an idea of what did people in the past look like. Dutch genre painting is this perfect example of the fact that people of the past really didn't look as different from the people of today than we think. You look at these peasants from the 16th, 17th century with Dutch genre painting, or 18th century maybe, going into that. It's the whole idea of the genre painting was you're gonna portray peasants like hanging out in bars playing lute. Because it's just, I don't know, it's a nostalgic thing. It's a cozy thing to buy a painting that looks like that. Well, what do the peasants look like? Well, they're not particularly attractive people, like most of us. You know, they're somewhere in the middle. They're middle-aged, right? They're not super young or super old. They're fat, a lot of them. They're overweight, what we would call overweight now. And, you know, they're smoking and doing stuff like that. They're not all that different from a modern person. You know, they're not super short, they're not super tall, they're not super fit. They work all the time, but a lot of, after the agricultural revolution of the early medieval period, going into the high medieval, you really had very effective agriculture. People could eat a lot. You know, a medieval peasant could eat thousands of, 5,000 calories a day and get fat. But he was working a lot of that off. That's very true, but he wasn't working so much off that he could, never get fat. There were plenty of fat people in the past. Not as much as today, because people were just more active in general, etc., but there were fat people in the past. Most people weren't like diced to the socks in the past because they worked their butt off in the fields. That was probably, might have been the case in the Bronze Age, but really probably was not the case, in the last 1,000 years, where people were starving to death all the time. Nah. But you do need to exercise now because even, medieval peasants still got lots of exercise compared to today. Oh, these are the tanks. These are cool. So you look at it, and the whole point was to draw regular people rather than idealized people. Because the point of the genre painting was to draw regular people. That's more or less what regular people probably look like. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, we got silenced. Often the monks would be the people making the wine, so the fat, drunken monk stereotype is a bit warranted. Yeah. I've had friends that diet different ways. I had a friend who was really fit. Like, he could have probably competed if he wasn't, like, touring with death metal bands and stuff. Really in great shape. And he ate a really strict diet 5 days a week. Like, really strict. No Nothing. And then he just basically ate what he wanted on the weekend. And it was enough that like somehow it evened out and he had abs year round, like pretty lean year round. So somehow it worked out for him. He's like, no, I diet hard 5 days a week, and then 2 days a week I just kind of let myself eat what I feel like eating, and it works out. It's the boss. Let's heal up. Let's see here. More heals. Lots of that. Okay. Is anybody permanently silenced? I don't think so. It'd show up, right? Alright, yeah. Yeah, I look for healthy ways to satisfy cravings too. That's why I like, I have the protein peanut butter cookies. They're 80% as good as a real peanut butter cookie. Maybe 70%. But they're good enough that like if I eat one, I feel like that was yummy. I enjoyed that. Not as good as a real peanut butter cookie. But it's enough that you're not going to be like, well, I got to go to the store and buy a bag of cookies and eat them. Because I just can't stand not having some peanut butter in me. Suplex him! Let's see what other stuff we got here. Scan. Let's see what he has to steal here. Number 24. Level 24. Oh, we're gonna kill him really quick here. Suplex. Boom. Overflow. Whoa. That was easy. Avoid drinking soda. I drink diet soda. I love my diet soda sometimes, especially if I'm eating. I really like carbonated drinks when I eat. It's just, it makes me feel really full. Some people use that as a diet strategy. They drink like a whole sparkling water right when they wake up in the morning to make themselves feel full. I don't do that, but look at this guy. These are little espers here. Oh, a unicorn. Come here, unicorn. All right. Do I need to heal up? No, we're good. You want to help me, but I haven't long to live. Just as Ifrit did before me, I'll give to you my power. What are you doing there? It's Sid. Wearing like a hot dog outfit. What's this? Speaking, I served as a great soda sub. I alternate between them and water. Oh, sparkling ice, yeah. I like those too. The ones I really like, my son, that's like his treat that he likes to have with dinner is like the, he calls it fizzy lemonade, like the carbonated lemonade that they sell, which is a 0-calorie drink. So I don't care that much about giving him, you know, that with dinner, because I have soda with dinner and stuff. But my kids mostly just like water all the time, you know. That's what they want. I got upset with my mom at one point because she kept trying to feed my kids orange juice. Like, she'd go buy McDonald's, which it's okay to have McDonald's every once in a while. So she'd go buy McDonald's and then buy them these big orange juices and be like, orange juice is good for you. I'm like, Mom, orange juice is not good for you. Well, how is it not good for you? It's full of vitamin C. Vitamin C is in like every fruit. My kids are eating like 20 servings of fruit a day. They're fine on vitamin C. If you want them to have the vitamin C of an orange, I can give them oranges. We have oranges in the fridge. I will open one up. They can eat the oranges. Right? Well, why don't you want them drinking the juice? Because the orange juice is more calorie dense than soda. It's pure sugar. You know, that's why it tastes so good, is it's sugar. Juice is very much a sometimes thing for my kids. I really don't like having juice in the house or letting my kids drink juice because it's just sugar. They need something else that's more than that. If they eat an apple and they eat a 70-calorie apple, my kids will be full from that. You know, I have to like be careful about giving them apples because if I give them an apple, it will spoil their appetite for the good food they need to eat. Like if I give my kid an apple before breakfast, he won't eat his eggs. He'll just be like, I'm full. I don't want my eggs. If he doesn't have that apple, he'll eat all his eggs. You know, or I make my own chicken nuggets that are really like healthy chicken nuggets. And my kid loves them. He'll eat a ton of them. I make I make like protein pancakes for my kids and they love them. You know, they love to eat them. Now, are they quite as good as the restaurant ones? No, but I don't want them eating like pure sugary pancakes all the time. You know, if they like the pancakes with a little bit of whipped cream or something, it's fine. They'll eat it up. My kids are not fat, so I think I'm doing okay. But juice is really something I don't like in the house. It's way too calorie dense. It's too sweet. Gives them like a sugar rush and a sugar crash. But there's this boomer mentality that juice is somehow good for you. They're like, orange juice is good because it's from oranges, which are good for you. Well, no, you're taking out all the good stuff from oranges, which mostly is the fiber, and like just giving somebody liquid sugar. It's not good for you. And at least the soda makes you feel full because of the carbonation. Yeah, juice. I'm not a fan of juice in my house. You know, I'm just not. Other people can probably drink a lot of, or have juice around. Like I have juice in the fridge. My kids will get half a cup of juice. That's how much juice they get. And I don't let them have more than that because it's just not really good for you. I'm not a big believer in juice at all. Yeah, people are blinded by the fact that it's fruit and juice. Sure, but basically it's all the fibers have been removed. So it's basically just sugar and vitamin C. Yeah, that's how I see it. It's like, yeah, I have oranges. They can eat oranges if they need vitamin C. They get plenty of vitamin C. Anyway. So, Asper magical power can only truly be transferred when one of them passes away. Give me those Espers. Give it to me. Received Magicite. Professor Sid. General Juno. And who might these dubious characters be? Your troops? No, you see, can it be true that you came here as a spy seeking to cause an uprising? Uh-oh, here comes Kefka. So that's it, Magicite. Sid, you miserable blockhead. Now. General Juno, the game's over. Bring me those Magicite shards. Juno, you deceived me. Of course not. Have a little faith. There's so much misinformation about nutrition, it's no wonder there's an obesity problem, especially in kids. Honestly, I think the nutritional misinformation, which is like, you know, food pyramid stuff, I honestly think that's not as bad as just, in general, calorie-dense foods are very available, very convenient, and very cheap. That's why I think we have an obesity epidemic. I don't think it's that people don't know right nutrition. I think people in the past didn't know good nutrition either, but they didn't consume these ultra-calorie dense foods all the time because they weren't as convenient, they weren't as cheap, and life wasn't arranged in a way where they were trying to seek them out all the time. We have busy lives. People don't have time to cook. If people just made home-cooked meals, like if you just said, I'm not going to eat out anymore, you'd probably, and you were obese, you'd probably really start losing a lot of weight just doing that. Because you'd end up choosing less calorie dense foods. I'm gonna make the only food I'm gonna eat is food that I prepare. You'll lose a ton of weight because you won't be eating potato chips and stuff like that. If you had to actually cook your own potato chips, they'd probably be less calorie dense for you, and you'd probably make them less often because they're too much effort. It's kind of like with French fries. Like I'll make my own French fries, and I fry those puppies in lard. I fried them in the most calorie dense thing possible. Here's what I've noticed about it though. I have the French fries less often. My kids have them less often. They eat less of them. I eat less of them. So half as many French fries are more satisfying than a giant order of fast food French fries made in canola oil. I don't know what it is. The animal fat makes the food way more satisfying. Just does. Same thing with cooking with butter versus margarine or something like that, or just oil. You know, put butter and stuff. I just end up eating less of it, even though it's more calorie dense and, quote, worse for you according to the nutrition advice of 30 years ago. The fact that you're just not eating a whole lot of it probably means it ends up being better for you in general. So if you just prepared all your own meals, you'd probably lose a ton of weight, just like that. So I think it's more just like people don't even think about nutrition. They get hungry, they find something to eat, they eat it, and it happens to be convenient, really rich food that puts them in a calorie surplus and makes them gain weight over time. And before you know, you end up obese. It takes years to put on the weight. It takes a long time to take it off too. That's the hard part. Gee, she has tricked you all. Juno, that's so you. Key, please believe me. Now! Exterminate all of them! Key, let me protect you for once. Maybe now you'll believe me. Yeah, because there are potatoes at the bottom of the food pyramid does not mean fries or mashed potatoes, depending on how you make them, should be the base. Yeah. If people made food at home and follow the food pyramid, they'll actually lose weight and be healthier. Yeah, just doing that. It's true. But the restaurants make their money by making really good tasting food, and it tastes good because it's loaded up, it's rich. That's why it tastes good. Juno, what are you doing? Stop it! I have not done the Matrix demo on PS5. People have said that. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll check it out tonight and like stream it, or maybe a little bit later, because certainly I'm not going to be able to play any Final Fantasy this afternoon because there'll be like a 10 billion person queue. I've been playing at like 1 in the morning. I played it in the middle of the night with my son because he was up. We played some video games and goofed off because he couldn't sleep, had a bad dream. Ooh, what happened? Oh, ooh, what happened? This is a disaster. Your fighting has caused the capsules to rupture. Their contents are spilling out. Quick, over here. Just killed like 100 Magitech armors. Kefka has used me, used the Empire. What have I done? The life energy of those Espers. You've helped me come to a decision. I'm going to talk to the Emperor and have this stupid war stopped. Alright. We don't have Juno again. Save up here. Juno, I've known her since she was a baby. I raised her as if she was my own daughter. But she was forced to become a Magitech Knight and has done some awful things. If I could only talk to her, I'd apologize for the way her life has turned out. No, it's Kefka. Go! suplex that guy. Oh, this was cool back in the day. You could kind of choose your path here. It looks so awful, like by today's standards, but it was really cool back then. Bolt Edge, ooh, that's cool. Did you ever consider doing a Matrix trilogy analysis? Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot there. I think it's a cool set of movies, and yeah, I think there's a lot there. I don't know if I'm supposed to go off to the right. It's just kind of like this blurry thing here. Or if it's another one of those things where you like infinitely grind. Are you still playing Tales of Arise? I've taken a break from that. My main game I've been playing is Final Fantasy XIV, just because I've been enjoying it a lot. I did play Deathloop. It's okay if you want like a shooter. It's not that revolutionary. I think the press talks it up a little bit too much, but it's okay. It's fun. It's got like an interesting little macro thing where you you know, when you die, you like start the day over again. So it's Groundhog Day meets Half-Life 2. That's how I put it. It's Groundhog Day meets Half-Life. We gotta go to the right here. What time is it? Oh, it's about time to stop anyway. Here we go. Left blade, right blade. Tools. Let's go. Flash. We hit all of them once. Steal. Steal from him. Let's hit everything at once here. Alright, we killed both these little blades here. Now we can suplex him a couple times. I think they keep going back, so we'll keep using our fire dance. Try Prey. Prey's good, yeah. I haven't played it in a while, though. There he goes. Alright, we got him. I think Matrix 2 and 3 had good ideas. They were not very well executed, though. I think they have better... I think, looking back, number 2... was like the one everyone loved, and they didn't like number 3. And I think now it's the opposite. I think number 3 is actually the better movie, and number 2 is not as good. Just my opinion. I think do I go this way? I go this way. It's down. Let's see if I can hit him. Even though he's in. Oh, I can't. I don't think I can hit air guys with it. Try chainsaw. Hit him with the crossbow. There we go. There he goes. I haven't played Returnal yet. Whoa. Level 5 Doom. Uh-oh. Oh, relax, honey bun. Oh, she didn't like that sound. What? Come here. Come here. Come sit back down. It's on the game, honey bun. It's not. No one's invading the house. She's like, no, I know that noise is not supposed to be there. Get your gun. Someone's coming. It's my job to protect you by barking at things. Oh, that's the way out. All right. Okay, well, I guess we can leave now. All right. Let's use some of our items here. Potion. Good. Let's trying to see if I think this, yeah, this just goes back. This is a new save point, and this just goes back to where we were. Okay. See if flash hits harder. Yeah, that hits pretty hard. There we go. Kill these guys pretty quick here. My dog is a Maltese. Here, honey bun, do you want people to see you? No? Okay. She's been on some videos. She's a little shaggy right now. Need to cut her hair. Biggest reason why I'm skeptic about Matrix 4 is why are they making it now? Yeah, we already came in here, right? Yes. So we already did all this. We don't need to go back into it. What do they need to add to the story so many years later? Because of the timing, I fear it's going to be extremely woke. Yeah. Any thoughts on the state of the church? Wanted to get back to a church, but it seems like every denomination branch has this version of garbage going on. Yeah, I mean... So, looking for a... I'm going to try to, like, channel Brian here, because he had a great way of putting this. But anyway, looking for a based church is backward thinking. It's you who makes the church based. The church is the people. So if you want the church to be better, then you need to be in the church, making it better. You know? different Catholic parishes are different. You know, everything is a little bit different. So it's not like universal here. Certain Protestant denominations, you can pretty much count on them being woke and probably incorrect. But the main thing that you have to think about too is that, like, if you are going to go to a church, if you're going to go to, for instance, the Catholic Church, then you go because it's correct, not because it's not woke or something. If that makes any sense at all, I don't know. I think we'll get like a second wave of enemies here. Oh, maybe not. Do you hear they're rewriting 1984? Female author, female protag. Yeah, right. I won't even know what's up. Keep getting these guys. Chasers. If a church starts talking about tolerance, I will not attend the next service. Oh yeah, I need to call the stream. I need to be done here. It's after 3. I've got other stuff to do. I'm having too much fun, guys. I want to get out of this little town first. I was starting to worry. What's up with Juno? We'll talk later. Let's get out of here. Crud, what a mess. Crud. Crud. I don't think so. You won't get away. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's not overstay our visit. We're out of here on the double. Right. Speaking of which, maybe we should be leaving. Something horrible's coming. Whoa, what in the... Whoa, crane. Steel. Slot. I don't know what that does. There we go. Triple diamonds. Let's see what that does. Chainsaw. Let's see if we could suplex this crane arm. Oh, it didn't work. Alright. Let's try Bolt 2 on that. he died. Let's try. Oh, there we go. Key, you're dead. Did you guys talk about the Cowboy Bebop show getting canceled? Not really. It just kind of goes to show. Doesn't matter about awards and stuff. I'm worried about Lucina. Let's return to Zozo. Everybody from the show is still gonna work again. No one's really gonna suffer any negative consequences for how bad it was. Lucina, who's that? I'll explain on the way. About Lucina, Espers, the returners. Look at those sweet Mode 7 graphics. We're all here. Lucina. Magicite. Father? I remember it all. I was raised in the Esper's world. The Esper world. I guess we'll have this as a finish. This has been a long stream. Sorry it was so long. I've had fun though. We'll roll with it. All right, I'm gonna pause it here. We'll come back later with this elf guy. We're gonna save the state. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna call it here. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me, having a little fun. I'll see you guys next time, same time, 1 o'clock, and hopefully I'll have a new office and everything more squared away towards what I'm doing. And anyway, yeah, I appreciate it. What's the new book? New book is Wasting Desert. There's also The Bright Children is still on Kindle Vela if you like Kindle Vela or if you're interested in it. I think most people didn't really jump on the Kindle Vela bandwagon. So I may pull this one off and turn it into a book. And I don't know. So you can check that out if you have Kindle Vela stuff and you want to read it. If not, you know, that's okay too. Eventually I'll probably pull it off of this platform and just put it out as a book series. I'll write the next 2 in the series and then, you know, put it all out. Or I might like release the next 2 on Vela, kind of like as a draft project, and then do a revision and then release them as books. So I don't know, that might be what I try to do for those. Right now I'm trying to finish up Moonsong 3, basically a lot of rewrites for that, and that'll get done hopefully in the next week. And I don't know, maybe have it out by January, maybe before that. If I can really like get on top of it, I could probably get it done by Christmas. But it's been really busy, like building the new office, moving everything in, you know, all that kind of stuff. Plus, you know, just life. So I really appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with me in the diet discussion too, which I like. So good luck on all of your goals, whatever they're creative or physical goals or career goals, mental goals. You know, I love learning. So I always have like learning goals too. Like I want to learn language, or I want to, you know, learn a new skill. I always get really energized to learn new stuff. So that's another goal that I, you know, another goals you have too, learning goals, growth goals. So anyway, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.